The way that we like to think about it is that you have 3 core pillars of your demand gen strategy. And you need to think about deploying different strategies and tactics for each of these core pillars. We think about demand creation, demand capture, and demand conversion. So let's talk about each one. I'm going to start with converting demand at the bottom here. So when we talk about converting demand, this is really about for those that are in market to buy and are actively looking for you and finding your website, for example, we want to make sure that for all of those types of buyers, we are converting as many of those buyers into sales conversations as quickly as possible. So this is really about how are you thinking about your website conversion rate optimization strategy? How are you thinking about when someone comes in and requests a demo or asks to talk to your sales team? What is that experience like for them? And is it fully optimized to make sure that you're maximizing on converting that demand into opportunities and pipeline? And so the key things to think about here are your website's really important. You want to make sure that you have transparent pricing, that you have, social proof in the form of customer case studies, testimonials, real use cases of the outcomes that your customers have been able to drive. And then once they submit the form, you want to be optimizing for speed and quality of conversation. Allow them to book a meeting right within that form completion process and get them on the phone with a qualified account executive as soon as possible. Let's talk a little bit about capture demand. So the demand capture pillar. And so this is really about, okay, people are, there's sort of a saying that about 5% of your market will be in market to buy right now. And typically what happens when someone is, actively looking for a solution like yours, there's a few things that they'll typically do. They're going to go to Google and begin doing their own research, right? And so when you're thinking about paid search and SEO, those are really important strategies to capture demand. But it's important to recognize that that's only a fraction of your market. However, obviously we want to capture all of that demand and convert as much of it as possible to sales conversations. So here, paid search, retargeting campaigns, SEO are all really crucial. Additionally, things like review sites, G2, Capterra, people might be looking up, your company on these sites to read reviews from other people and to also see your competitors and begin to make some comparisons about what might work for them. So you want to make sure that you have budget allocated and you're deploying the right type of paid search and SEO and retargeting strategy to capture that 5% of demand. And then the third pillar, arguably the most important pillar, and the one that I think most B2B companies today are not doing enough of. So we just talked about how 5% of your market is in market to buy today. What about the other 95%? So that 95% of people that are in your market but not actively looking to buy today might want to buy your product, just not now. Could be next week, next month, next quarter, next year. And the most impactful thing that you can do with this 95% of your target market is make them aware that you exist, right? So the goal behind your demand creation strategy is how do I educate and tell my target market about the problem we solve, the solution, our brand, our specific product, why we're different, and how do I meet buyers where they're at today so that they can consume that information in the normal course of their life. So the tactics here are really around thinking about how do you deploy a really effective podcast strategy, event strategy? How do you have your founders, your executive team, your subject matter experts posting organically on social media to communicate their thought leadership and their points of view? How are you leveraging paid social advertising to guarantee distribution to your target audience and begin to generate that word of mouth? So this is what I see as one of the biggest opportunities for B2B companies out there that are just simply not doing enough to educate their target market. If everything works as intended, once this 95% of your market that is not in market to buy today becomes ready to buy in the future, they already know you exist. And the ideal end state would be that they then come in and raise their hand and want to initiate a sales process with you.